So we all know the story, and Abraham, after he takes Isaac, puts him up on the altar, is about to slaughter his son, an angel comes and says, stop. So how do I depict that? I don't know how this happened. But so the way I depicted it in that series was, all this is happening now, the actual binding and the putting up on the altar, that's in my synagogue. That's in front of the Aron HaKodesh of my synagogue, the place where I really became Jewish, meaning I really learned about Judaism, was that synagogue on 16th Street and 5th Avenue. Well, that's the Aron HaKodesh. And so he has Isaac on the altar there. He's been stopped. How he's been stopped? The angel has come down, and if you'll see in the painting, how does he stop him? The angel throws his arms around Abraham, embracing him, but also making it so he can't move. He can't carry out God's command. To me, that really got at what must have been happening, because remember, we have this idea of Abraham, all he wants to do is listen to God. Well, he had to be told to stop. But obviously there's momentum. And so that painting kind of gets to that, where he's being held so he can't slaughter his son. And behind it, you'll see the Aron HaKodesh has been ripped open, because in fact, this narrative rips open our Torah. It rips open our guts of what almost happened. And of course, the news of it kills Sarah. The other thing that I want you to look at, please, in the 30 paintings, one painting is the birth of Rebecca. So she is at the end of our Parsha, right? Almost as an aside, a little bit of genealogy. So how do I depict the birth of Rebecca? Well, she's the birth of a very special person, because she's the birth really of the future. And since I'm focusing more and more on women, so I think, well, what are the great births that I can think of, and what flows into my head anyway, are the great nativities of Western art. And there's a Giotto. And so the painting there is a paraphrase of one of Giotto's nativities, but here, angels up above, underneath a little structure like a creche, and there's the birth of Rebecca, because that becomes the future, maybe the future for the Christians, but really Rebecca is the future for us. She's the one who's going to be able to take this family forward into the future. So those paintings are the ones that I'd like for you to look at. That are studies for Sarah's trials. There's 4 paintings. One is Abraham, here's God, which I kind of told you about already, and then there's Sarah alone, which for sure I just talked about. Sarah alone in bed, sitting up in bed, shocked that suddenly her husband is gone and not knowing what's happened. Her husband, and suddenly realizing, Isaac's gone also, what's up? And then there's Isaac returns, which is the death of Sarah, because she dies from the shock. He says what Dad almost did. And then Abraham in mourning. Those 4 paintings are from 16 paintings that I did. They're all preparatory paintings for a set of 16 large paintings, I think 5 by 6 feet each, of Sarah's trials. Again, you simply have to look at Sarah and try to understand this narrative through Sarah's eyes. And while I didn't have it on those little paintings, on the large painting, each large painting is accompanied by a wall text that speaks for Sarah, meaning in the first person. I with great hubris, I wrote what I thought Sarah would say in each incident, because it's the only way I can try to understand her voice. And it's not easy. I'm a man. What do I know? I'm a modern person. But I have to do that. I have to do that because she matters. She deeply matters. And so I have to hear her voice. So that's the Sarah's trials here.